Tonight on the 6th, we've got 3 ladies and 2 dudes. So it's going to be the 6 kind of. And then, of course, we're introducing the behind-the-scenes cam. We're going to talk about the Instagram model who deleted her boyfriend. The panel discusses next. The 6 starts right now. What's up, guys? It's your man, Donovan Sharpe, and I will be on screen very, very soon. And welcome to this edition of the 6. I think I'm on. Can they hear us? No? Yes? Oh, yes, they can hear us. I, of course, am your host, Donovan Sharpe. I will be on screen here very, very shortly. I just have a few things to sort of, you guys can see me on this screen. But before we get started, let us introduce tonight's esteemed panel. First up, of course, is the godfather of the manosphere himself. It's Rollo Tomasi. What's going on, brother? Oh, wait, unmute yourself, please. Sorry about that.
My bad. It's the all-female version of Rule Zero. Yes. Better than Ghostbusters.
Instead of the 6, this is now called the Sex. Next up, of course, is the newly engaged and mom-to-be. It is Allie D, as in Drummond. What's going on, Allie? How you doing?
I am doing great, but how dare you call me engaged? I got this ring, my MRS degree right here.
My bad. She's married.
No, it's okay.
She was okay. My bad. She got the bag. I mean, got the ring.
You're failing us.
Oh, good.
Yes, exactly. How dare you? Next up, of course, is our girl on the West Coast. It is Janelle Gordon. What's going on, Janelle? Oh, unmute yourself.
Unmute.
There we go. That's customary here.
I wanted to kind of follow suit. Just living the amazing life. Enjoying the weather here was like 90, 100 degrees or something the last 2 days.
Jesus Christ.
So.
We would love that weather here. Here in New Jersey. And last, of course, and certainly not least, it is the lovely and talented Devin. How are you today?
Hey, it's been a while.
Yes, it has. Yes, it has. Yeah, it's been a while. We haven't been on in a while because we've been doing some traveling and everything.
Yes.
Yes.
Just a little busy.
Yeah, just a little bit busy.
It's good to be back. Thank you for having us on.
Absolutely. So, what we're going to talk about today, guys. Hang on a second. Hey, there I am. Never mind. I guess I was on. What we're going to talk about today is we are going to talk about the Instagram model. And I apologize that I'm a little bit rusty here. We're going to talk about the Instagram model who, how can I put, deleted her boyfriend, I suppose. She deleted her boyfriend. I'm going to actually pull up the, oh God, I am all out of sorts here, guys. I do apologize. I'm going to pull up a couple of articles that talk about what's going on here. But Rollo, while I pull this up, give us your opening salvo on what your thoughts are here in terms of as we welcome Pearl Davis. As we welcome Pearl Davis to the show. How you doing today, Pearl?
I'm good. How are you?
We're doing very, very good. We are actually getting ready to get into the nitty gritty stuff, but we are going to. I'm gonna let Rollo give his opening salvo because I think Rollo, you had a lot to say about this. Have you guys talked about this on Rule Zero yet, or no?
No, we haven't. They were talking about it on Fresh and Fit. I want to say last night, or I'm pretty sure it was last night. Maybe it was on the first show last night.
Okay.
Now the chick that we're going to talk about here, she was on. There's another podcast in Miami. It's kind of like the Walmart version of Fresh and Fit. It's I mean, seriously, it's what's it called? We in Miami podcast. Okay. And the guy running the show his name is, I guess he goes by the name of Stunt. He just got into doing this podcast because I think he wanted to try to repeat the formula that Fresh and Fit were doing. But so he gets girls on there, he talks to them and everything, and yeah, again, it's kind of a weaker version because it's more of like the leftovers of Fresh and Fit.
Instead of Myron Gaines, does it call himself like Byron Gaines or?
Yeah. Well, I think what he has a fairly well like subbed channel, but he made his name doing pranks and stuff like that, and now I think he's trying to sort of follow the template of Fresh and Fit, which I should say a lot of guys are trying to do right now.
Yes, they are.
So the chick that was on his podcast, her name was Courtney Tailor. And let's see, she was on. It was the We in Miami podcast, and just like 2 weeks before, let's see, how can I say this without
Courtney Tailor was her name?
She drew blood from Christian Toba Chuaku Buselli. I guess he is an Instagram influencer as well.
Okay.
I'm sure you'll have some pictures of these two so you can get an idea. Just a week before all this happened, the guy is now pronounced dead. He's deceased. So she was on the show just weeks before she killed the guy, and she's saying that she only dates rich black men.
Yes.
And so she was on there, and I'm trying to see what else I got here for you. So that was basically what she was saying. But the funny thing is, I don't know if you've seen, there's a lot of pictures. I'm sure you're probably going to have the police photos and everything. It's all over TV. And so, I mean, there's no doubt that is actually her who did this. And let's see, she was 27. Oh, no, the guy was 27. She was, I believe, 24.
Okay.
And really, really unstable, really kind of unhinged. And if you watch the video of her on Stunts video, you get an idea. I guess you'll see it on the TMZ clips, but she definitely got something wrong with her. And I think it's a good illustration of like being aware of crazy. You know, we always say don't put your dick in crazy.
Yeah.
And she's definitely crazy.
Okay, so what we'll do is what I'm going to do is I'm going to read this. I'm going to read a couple of these just to give us a little bit of a backstory. So this one is from The Sun. Killer OnlyFans star Courtney Tailor seen looking disheveled in 2020 mugshot as docs show she was due in court for a DUI. So The Sun can exclusively reveal that the 25-year-old internet star who is yet to be charged over the death of Christian Obumsley, 27, was due in court in June. There's her mugshot. Of course, that's funny. They had to block that out because she probably wasn't wearing panties. Court documents show that she was arrested on September 16, 2020 for driving while intoxicated. The bond was set for $8,000 plus an unknown charge for installing an ignition interlock device in her vehicle, which measures alcohol. Ooh, wow.
Blow and go.
Yes, this girl's an alcoholic.
The attorney, by the way, is saying it was self-defense.
Of course they are. Yeah. And we'll get all into the racial connotations. That should be quite fun.
Oh, yeah.
Details of the arrest were not immediately available from Austin Police Department, but filings from Travis County show Clenny, I guess that's her real name, had retained attorney Merrill Anthus, and pretrial conference was set for June 15th of 2022. It is not yet known if she entered a plea ahead of her court date. Her mugshot features the blonde influencer with smeared eye makeup and messy hair, with her blue mask pulled down below her chin during the pandemic. Let's move to the next one. These actually start to get better. So here we are. This is the video that
This was today.
This was today.
She's out of. Well, do you want to go in order? Sequential order?
Is this sequential order?
No.
Okay. What is?
Okay, well, first she was given a DUI in Austin, Texas.
Okay, that's this.
And then she moved to Miami in January with her boyfriend, Christian.
Okay.
She failed. So they moved into a $10,000 a month condo on a luxury high-rise and didn't pay rent in March and was being faced with an eviction when this happened as well.
Oh, wow.
They had court papers filed on her to evict her as well. So not only was she due in court, she was about to be homeless. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so she was all right.
Yeah, she's a train wreck.
Yeah, she is. Anyone who has a blow and go, just like you said, in their vehicle, that's an alcoholic. Let me just continue to read the rest of these, and then we'll go around the panel here. Courtney Tailor, the model who was covered in blood after her boyfriend was brutally killed, got a temperature check on how the public feels about her, and it ain't good. A video has surfaced that someone filming a blonde woman in the lobby area of Miami's Grand Beach Hotel Friday, you know where that's at, with a camera person saying that she will not stop the recording and arguing this woman, who she believes is Taylor, has no business being there, especially since her boyfriend, Christian O, was slain just days ago. The person filming also makes clear their opinion on the matter, namely that she believes Taylor may have been the one who did the stabbing, something CT has yet to have been accused of by cops or law enforcement officials at this point in the investigation. Their IG caption is also telling at MD Police, MPD Police does look like a mentally unstable person to you, as she claims. She's referring to the fact that Taylor was placed in a psychiatric hold after threatening suicide when she was brought in for questioning. Clearly, she's been released from that hold nearly a full week ago and is out and about and not in custody.
Yeah, so she told the cops that she stabbed him in self-defense.
Fair use.
While
Go ahead.
in custody, threatened to commit suicide.
Okay.
Hurt herself. So they Baker acted her, and they were supposed to be a 72-hour hold, but I think it's been less than 24 hours.
Wow, 72-hour hold.
She has not yet been charged.
She has not yet been charged. Let's go. Let's go over one more. Let's kind of go back to the beginning. And by the way, Dwayne Haskins, 24 years old, was hit and killed by a dump truck. That's very sad to see. We'll talk about that probably on another time. OnlyFans model Courtney Tailor. I only date rich black guys. Yeah, join the club. In a clip 2 weeks before her boyfriend's stabbing death, the Instagram model, covered in blood after her boyfriend's stabbing death, proudly talked about needing to be in control of her relationships and only, quote, dating rich black men just weeks before she was killed. Courtney Tailor went on the We in Miami podcast, the truck stop fresh and fit. We're told just 2 weeks before Christian T.O.'s death, a newly surfaced clip from the interview makes her taste in men pretty clear. Let me clarify, I only date rich black guys. Well, not all rich black guys want to date you. Boo. As the interview goes on, she reveals that she does not like being controlled in her life, saying she never wants to be told what to do. Okay, well, she belongs to the streets. Right. There is a picture of the scrumptious Miss Tailor. As we reported, cops responded to a domestic violence incident Sunday. They found the 27-year-old Christian with an apparent stab wound. Christian was rushed to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. The footage obtained by TMZ shows Courtney handcuffed in her luxury apartment in Miami with her clothes are covered in blood. After the event, police have yet to announce Courtney as the woman in the video, but Lee Merritt, an attorney working with Christian's family, says she's the one. Local authorities have not arrested her at this time. She was taken into custody immediately after the stabbing for questioning, but threatened to kill herself and was hospitalized.
It's also important to note that in the interviews that they did with this woman's friends, the friends are quoted as saying that they've seen her hit him, but they've never seen him hit her. Right.
Ooh. Okay, guys, I think we've gotten the gist of what we need to talk about here. So let's go to based on what we know. I'm gonna let Rolo hit cleanup here. Let's go to Pearl, the newest member on today's panel. Pearl, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on what you have heard so far? Just things that, and you don't have to get into it, and we'll discuss certain things as they go along. But what's something that jumped out to you?
Well, it just seems like this shows how much of double standards we have in society, because I can't imagine if she was a man, like, she wouldn't have been pressed charges and arrested by now.
Probably. I'm guessing she probably would have.
Yeah, I don't know. That's crazy. You said it like that's nuts.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else that you may notice about this particular situation?
She's nuts.
Okay.
I don't.
All right.
What else?
Listen, we're gonna go around. We're gonna see. We're gonna figure out who's afraid to say it. I'm actually the only black guy on the panel, so I think I'm probably gonna have to say it. Allie, what are your thoughts? What's one element here that most people probably not talking about?
how in God's name is her bail set at $8,000? First of all, her apartment is like $10,000 in rent. I don't know if she's on the lease or not, but they really let her out on bail over some $8,000. And so like my question is, okay, like how much are we going to degrade a man's life? We're going to reduce it down to like, oh, well, she's a minor threat, just $8,000. She can easily get that money and get out of jail, and she's still a hazard to society. I mean, this woman, I don't know a lot about female sociopaths. Rolo might, but she posts this thirst trap after she attacks him for one. And then the other thing is that she's at a bar. She's at a bar, but shout out to the woman that was trying to hold her accountable, because in the TMZ article, it says that so it was a female that was recording her saying, you have no business being here. So good for her trying to protect sisterhood from these crazy, witches.
Okay. All right. Very good. Let's go to Janelle. Janelle, what is something that you have noticed about this particular situation?
Okay, I said it actually in pre-show, and you'll talk on it again. I'll give you that floor, but obviously the race. So she is a white girl. She's a white girl from Texas. We call them snow bunnies, and this is obviously a black man, but like an African man, like his name.
Like
look at his name.
African, yes.
Like my son's father, from Mali. Like this is an African man, and this is a white snow bunny from Texas.
Yeah, man.
And that I noticed that right away. And then the other thing I thought was interesting is that there's probably deep pockets with mom and dad, because if she was getting evicted on $10K for a rent, how the heck did she get an attorney like that, like overnight? So mom and dad are definitely, I would say, backing her.
Yes.
Because I mean, how are you getting money? You can't even pay your rent, but you got an attorney and you're out. So.
Was she? Do we know if she was a top earner or something on OnlyFans? Because she said she's an OnlyFans model.
I mean, dude,
she has 2 million followers on Instagram. I would deduce that's a yes. Yeah.
Well, I mean, maybe the money is. I mean, probably what you're saying.
Even if you're 10%, even if you're 10, so she has 2 million IG. Even if the average is like 10% of your IGs will convert. So that's still 200,000 followers. Now she's probably charging, I would say, more than the average girl. So I'd say she's probably charging 20, maybe. So she's making money.
Dev, how many OnlyFans followers does she have?
I'm gonna look that up.
Oh, but she has like 2 million Instagram followers, and I think she's also a blue check mark on Instagram. Okay.
Yeah, well, that's what I was just saying. I bet she has about 200 grand minimum. I would say. But this will probably make her more famous.
Well, it probably will. Listen, I'll just go ahead and point this out before I kick it over.
Beat the rap.
Yeah, this is obvious, man. You got just like Janelle said, you got a white. Her name is Courtney. I don't know what her last name is, but her name is Courtney. Who?
Clenny.
Yeah, Courtney Clenny. She's a blonde girl from Texas, and she kills. Dude, she allegedly off the I mean, dude, it would be one thing if she had maybe allegedly ended the name of someone named David or Carlton, but no, she offed somebody whose last name, put that outside.
Can't even pronounce.
Like I told you before. Yeah, you can't even pronounce it. That is the worst case scenario. And so here's the main question. Now this is what I want to know. And Rolo, I'll throw this to you, is if this girl goes to trial and she gets off, what do you think is going to happen? Holy moly.
That I believe she probably would. They're already aiming for like self-defense, and then just even suggesting that, and the fact that she got off with $8,000 bail, it's not murder one for sure. It'll be manslaughter. Yeah, so if she gets convicted of anything, it'll be manslaughter. Again, I'm not a lawyer and I don't pretend to be one on the internet, but I mean, I've seen enough of these things come and go. So she's got that going for her. Definitely the race. She's playing the race card right now too. So well, I mean, she's, when you switch the races and you have a different story here.
Yes, you do.
Switch the genders.
Yeah, you switch the races and the genders. We got OJ.
Yeah, and we got OJ. So, from the perspective and the context that this is in, if she's got a high-powered lawyer that's already talking about self-defense, she could be covered in blood. Again, remember, she only stabbed him like once. Am I correct?
You know what? Allegedly, she stabbed him once, but I'm gonna tell you what. That was a lot of blood that was all over her.
What did she hit? The femoral artery or something like that?
Apparently, it was a shoulder wound, wasn't it?
Oh well, it could have been. What's the
brachial?
The brachial artery too. So it could have
your show
just
now.
Lucky shot, right? I mean,
Your
people can
show
bleed
is
out from
scheduled to
something like
start
that.
in 30
Assuming that's
seconds.
the real case.
The
Now,
story.
we don't know 100% for sure, but even if it was, her attorney's already claiming self-defense. And so there's that aspect of it. All I want to say is I wish Fresh was on this show, because then we could have talked about how he prefers white girls.
Yeah, we don't.
We could have got into that a little bit.
We don't dabble in the dark.
Like, dude,
Your
I'm
show
glad you
will
do,
go
but
live in 5 seconds. 4,
back up,
3,
back up a little bit there.
2, 1.
Especially when there's money involved too. I think money and the insta fame kind of thing. Like, you're talking about a girl who's how old was she? Like 24, 25, and the guy was
24, 25 years old. Yeah, basic snow bunny.
Yeah, so I mean, again, you put a lot of money. I don't know how much she's earning off of OnlyFans. I'm sure that data will come out at some point. This is like a story just made for TMZ.
Oh my God!
But I will say this: is I watched the footage from We in Miami with when she was on there, and even Stunt was like, "So you're crazy, right?" I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but he pretty much said to that effect. So watch out for you. She's like, I like to be in control, but not in the bedroom. I like to have a man basically pin me down and nail me to the wall kind of thing. But then I want to be in control of the relationship when I'm not in the bedroom. And she was just you can hear the crazy in her voice, and I think a lot of other people picked up on that too. But when you mix, here's the thing: when you mix this female empowerment narrative with nuts, with like clinical insanity, like bipolar disorder, that's you don't want to believe it. You don't want to believe that girl. Like, if she's hot and she's crazy, women can get away with a lot more than a guy who is actually good looking and also crazy too. So there's another context I think that needs to sort of be addressed here as well. Okay. But I most definitely see what's going on as far as the racial profiling is concerned.
Okay, so let me go back to Pearl. And by the way, guys, the phone lines are open. 516-387-1987, 516-387-1987. What is your opinion? Any element that you can think of that nobody else is talking about? So, Pearl, when I came to you, you said, all right, well, I mean, I kind of noticed that if this was a man, then he would probably be thrown under the jail, right?
He wouldn't even make bail.
Else you'd like to add to that?
Is there anything else I'd like to add to that?
Yes.
Let me ask you. Is there something? Why don't you just say it, Donovan?
Look, I'll tell you what. I don't have my sound. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Yep, there it is. Yep, there it is. There it is. Courtney was most definitely a night writer. So let me ask you this, Pearl. Let's say that this girl goes to trial. Let's say this girl goes to trial and she is found not guilty. I mean, what do you think it's going to? Because you remember what happened after. And I don't think she was alive during the riots, the whole Rodney King thing. LA went all up in smoke. They had riot gear for the OJ verdict, and thankfully for the city of LA, OJ got off. What do you think about this girl if she gets off? Do you think we're gonna have the same reaction, or do you think she's not gonna get off?
Oh no, for a hot girl. No, I don't think there will be the same reaction. I would be very surprised if they do.
So if this pretty white girl gets away from killing an African male living in America, you think people are just gonna let it go?
Yeah. I don't.
This is all kinds of uncomfortable. I love it. Let me go to Allie. Allie's a little bit more fearless. Allie, what do you think? Let's say this girl goes to trial and she gets off, because already we're already starting to see some of the favorable treatment. She's a woman, she's white, and she's pretty. I don't know what she's doing in the general population of people. if she has allegedly killed someone. She's the only one who could have done it. We saw the video of her covered in blood. So at this point, I guess her lawyers are going to try to spin this. It was self-defense. So in your opinion, what happens if this girl goes to trial and she gets off?
I mean, if she goes to trial and gets off, she'll be more famous. She'll get more OnlyFans subscribers. She'll get more Instagram followers. And then, to be honest, is just going to further inflate her ego because she would have literally gotten away with murder, whether or not they call it manslaughter. And I honestly think that she would do it again. Like, I am never surprised when it comes to pathological women, but I have a very different experience with women. So I don't talk about it a lot, but one of the things that I really enjoyed and needed to hear from the red pill was that women are capable of malice. And so I was subjected to physical assault when I was a child for about over a decade. And this is from a grown woman. And this is actually not uncommon. So I don't think it takes much to push a woman over the edge to where her emotions just absolutely take over, but they seem to be able to dodge accountability for it. And so I think it would be actually a good thing if some progressivist activists did get out and protest because of this result, but they almost never protest for something that makes sense. They always protest for, like, I don't know, like climate change or something, which I understand is important. But if you want to talk about a Black man's life being devalued to $8,000, like, this would be an excellent time to stand up and make a point, but they're probably not going to, just because they lack that rationalism part of things.
Yes, where is Black Lives Matter during this? Do you think they'll pick this up?
That's what I'm asking, because I mean,
not
you
gonna
think
happen.
that Black Lives Matter would be all over this, but they are noticeably silent. I wonder why that is.
Do you think it's because this guy was hitting it with a white girl? That's why they're not out in force right now.
I'll bet you that's what it is.
I bet
that's exactly what it is.
Well, because I mean, I seem to recall our best friends, Fresh and Fit, going on Flagrant 2 not too long ago, and they were reading them the Riot Act. So talking about how they don't want to date like within their race, or like they prefer what. And again, from an old video that they were joking around with, and I know, look, I know Myron and I know Fresh, and they're good dudes, right? Of course. But like, to nail them to the wall for something like that. But see, here's what that whole show woke me up to, besides the fact that those guys are full of shit. But like when I'm watching this and I'm listening to Akash, or I'm listening to, like, I forget the guy's name. Was it Alex? Is one of the producers that's on that.
Alex is like, oh,
he's also there. And they were especially Akash. He was like, oh, you should date within your tribe and all this other stuff. And it's like the fact that they said that right there, kind of. I don't claim to be an expert on this, but as far as like intersexual dynamics is concerned, is like when you got a Black guy dating a white girl, then there is sort of this, I want to say there's a kind of like a stigma within the Black community. Like, you're not like, I hear this on Kevin Samuels all the time. You know, we need to lift up our Black queens. Well, now this guy's dead at the hands of a white girl. And let me ask you this. Do you think that people are going to go, yeah, well, he deserved it for getting out with a crazy white girl?
I feel this 1,000%. Like,
we'll go to Janelle, then Dev. What do you got on this, Janelle? Because that's a very good point. I did not realize
they're going to throw him under the bus. They don't care because he was dating a white girl. The Black community will throw him under the bus, and he got what he deserved because he was dating a white girl.
Fucking a white girl. Fucking with a white girl.
It's a very, like, this is actually hits close to home for me, even though if you look at me, I don't seem white, but
but you look more Black than white though, Janelle. Like, if I were to see you, I would assume that you were Black.
You're a nice mocha color.
Thank you. But truthfully, from my perspective of my partners and his family and friends, they consider me white because of how I talk and where I live. I'm not, I'm telling you. And we went through a lot of headache over this, because a lot of them were like, what are you doing with this cougar, Newport Beach, uppity woman? Like, you need to be dating a queen, a Black queen, like a lot, so much stuff, which is why I took everything off social media with him and I. So I feel that this is going to be the angle of that community. They're going to be like, dude, you should not have even like, and me, I'm not even like white like she is. Like, she's like white. She's Snow Bunny from Texas. A lot of this has to do with that Texas, that I'm from Texas, so I know how it goes down there. This is a very racially charged community. Even Austin, even though Austin's like, oh, keep it weird. I don't think she was from Austin. I think that's maybe where she went to college or something. But her family, I would say, is probably very, very, very they're in that demographics of people that are racist. A lot of people are in Texas. And I would say that her family, just that whole dynamic is going to be a part of this whole
this
thing.
Is going to be awesome. I cannot wait. Quickly, I'm going to read the super chats, then I'm going to go to Devin because I think she has something to add to this. Wheezy Bird, $5 says, some info on this chick. I actually lived a floor above her months ago before I moved out. One morning, she actually threatened to jump off the building. I believe you. Dr. B420 says some people think that she probably deleted him because she tried to break the relationship off. In the woman's opinion, what do they think drives a woman to delete a guy? I'm going to come back to that after we get to what Devin has to say. Remind me to go back to that because that would be that's a very interesting question. Isidore Calderon, $5 says she's going down. DeSantis wants to be president. He won't allow Florida to be ground zero for racial unrest. Okay. Isidore Calderon, another $5 says too busy buying mansions with donor money. Prada Pierre, $2 says they found tweets of him dissing black women. Yeah, I want to make one correction here, Rolo. Kevin has never said. He has never called for the black community to uplift black queens. That's something he has never said. But he does want to uplift black women. Okay, Devin, you are the resident snow bunny. What's your opinion on all this?
I just want to clear a couple things up. First of all, the $8,000 bond was for her DUI back in 2020. She doesn't have a bond right now for this offense
because she hadn't been arrested.
Has not been arrested or charged with anything. So the waters are getting really, really muddy with this story because apparently these two broke up in March and she tried to kick him out of their apartment. So he had been sleeping in common areas in the building, trying to get back in.
Jesus Christ.
And so now even there are people on her side saying that she might even be a victim of human trafficking because she's
what? Shut the
wait, who did they say? Wait, hold on. You said that she might be a victim of human trafficking?
Yep.
You cannot.
No.
Our lawyer says Courtney Tailor was the real victim in this case.
What?
Physical, emotional, and mental abuse at the hands of
Oh my God.
I did not see that spin.
A victim of human trafficking. So my take on this is that she's never going to see the inside of a jail cell.
Yeah.
First of all, it happened in Florida. If you commit murder in Florida, you automatically get away with it.
That's right. That's correct.
Stand your ground. It is a state. It is a castle.
Exactly.
Castle doctrine state.
That's my second thing is Florida is a stand your ground state, and unless they can prove otherwise, you killed that person in self-defense.
That is.
Oh, you know what else happened? You know, Donovan, do you remember that guy that shot that dude on the porch in Lubbock, Texas?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Dudes walked scot-free. Like they took. I guess they arraigned him and they said, "You're free to go, sir."
So she's from. So let me get this straight. So she's from Texas, but the murder. Okay.
Both are from Texas. They moved to Miami in January.
Okay, in January. Holy moly!
So I have a question.
Yeah,
how do you think it would have switched if the girl was black?
We wouldn't even be talking though.
Yeah, she'd be in jail.
Don't think. Like, the black girl would be in jail. Oh, I thought you were saying
I'm just
the black
wondering,
girl was killed. But yes, no, you're right. You're right. Absolutely.
No, I'm wondering, like, do you think it still would have, like, because she's still a woman, right? And so she still has, like, yeah, she's a hot black girl. Yeah, hot black girl.
Listen, she is a woman, but she is a black woman. And the female privilege as far as this country is concerned, that stops at race. That's just all there is to it. Because her name is Courtney instead of LaCourtney. If her name was LaCourtney and she were from Compton or Greenville or somewhere, trust me, her ass would definitely be in jail. Because I'll tell you something, Crystal Gail Mangum. I don't know if you guys remember this. Crystal Gail Mangum. She is the girl that accused Colin Finnerty, Reed Seligman, and David Evans of e-parring her the whole Duke lacrosse case. Well, she is in prison for life because she murdered her boyfriend. And when she was accused of that, she didn't get no $8,000 bond. She didn't get to go home. She didn't get to start OnlyFans. No, they locked her ass up until her trial, at which point she was found guilty. And you guys know me, man. I am not Mr. SJW, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend and not to acknowledge the fact that if her name was Courtney, yeah, she would definitely be in jail. What'd you have? You have anything?
No, I'm good.
Oh, okay. Allie, what do you have on this? What do you think? What are some of the racial components that you can think of about this? And Jay Blaze, we're going to come to you on the phone next.
Oh man, I mean, honestly, I don't mean to be a goody two shoes, but the Christian in me cannot handle this. Like, this is ridiculous. You killed someone, whether you meant to or not. Like, you should be in jail or at least like smited by lightning. Like, shout out to the big man upstairs. Do your work.
Guilty,
but in any case,
guilty.
Appreciate that, Rollo.
Right. So I think a lot of this isn't just that she is a white woman, although obviously, like, I think that's true. The fact that she is gorgeous, I mean, there is pretty privilege. And I think you can even see that when it comes to a lot of these heinous crimes. I am not at all surprised by this. The only thing I'm surprised about is the fact that, there's just like no bond, but I guess you have to be taken into custody for that.
You have to be arrested.
She literally had his blood on her body. So yep. I'm very confused. And then also, let's go back to the fact that like apparently she's a crazy ex-girlfriend who is like sitting in the lobby trying to get back in the apartment from what Dev explained. So I mean, like, men, if you're watching, literally every red flag in the book. I mean, you can't play with crazy. Like, crazy can end your life. And if she doesn't, she can make you an indentured servant for the next 18 years of your life. So just be smart. And men, y'all can get restraining orders on women. I realize that sometimes that doesn't get taken seriously, but at least it's a paper trail. And it doesn't take much to get a temporary restraining order and then to have that turn into like a full restraining order. If you save your text messages, like, take care of yourselves.
Dude, let me tell you, let me just throw something in there real quick as the pretty privilege thing. Brittany Renner is clinically bipolar. I said it. She is clinically bipolar, manic depressive. That chick is, I mean, any psychologist worth his salt would diagnose her with bipolar disorder or something. And we have her on shows, we interview her. She's, it's all, hey, that's all it is, right? And it's seriously, we take this person seriously. You make her any less hotter than she is, or any less of a quote unquote celebrity than she is. You don't even know her name.
I totally agree. Let us go to the phone lines. 516-387-1987 is the number to call. Let us go to Jay Blaze in Maine. Jay Blaze in Maine, you're on live with the 6. Go ahead.
Hey, let's face it, this one's going to probably get off. Is this going to increase, how in domestic disturbances there's a double standard with men and women? Is this going to add to a further development of more murders from...
In what way? In what way are you talking about adding to further development?
In women like ending other men. Yeah.
So I think what Jay Blaze is asking. I think what you're. So let me just make sure I'm understanding this correctly. So you are saying that if Courtney, whatever her last name, if she gets off, is it going to then be open season for certain kinds of women to end certain kinds of men?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go around the panel. Pearl, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you take...
Let me preface it with this, Pearl. Think about how many women falsely accuse men of EPAR, but nothing happens to them when it gets proven false. You understand what I'm saying? And so what's happened is more and more women are falsely accusing men of EPAR. So what Jay Blaze is asking is, if she gets away with this, is it going to literally be just open season on black men for white women?
Yeah. Well, if you take away the consequence of something, like, more people do it.
There you go.
So, of course, if people see that there's no consequence for doing this, like, crazy people are going to do it.
I agree. I totally agree. Janelle, what do you think?
Yeah, it'll definitely be trending. I think that it'll get glorified. Like, she'll get a made-for-TV Lifetime movie or something like that. I can see them trying to make a Netflix series of like, like how she would. And being in the human trafficking space, having my own nonprofit, now that they have this like angle, this is like totally over. They're going to try to make it seem like he was maybe trafficking her, or, he's maybe he wasn't the main, but it was part of the ring, and the OnlyFans stuff was just forced. She had to do it. Like, I'm telling you, this is over.
Jesus Christ. Wow. Allie, agree or disagree?
I agree, but this lady's going to hell anyway. So I just like, it's hot where she's going. I don't play that. Like, I will. We have a God who's a judge. Anyway, I'm done with my soapbox here. But this is like the stuff that happens. Right? Not her though. Okay. So you bring up this stuff when it happens to liberals, and you explain your position as to why you just don't take them seriously. And this is like a standard case of that. And so, like, what I think would be a really good turnaround, like, let's say that there wants to be an appeal to that demographic in the state of Florida, they could make an example out of her if they wanted to. And I would encourage them to do that, because I mean, Pearl, I believe, is right, because anytime I see consequences taking away from the woman, they continue on doing their pathological behaviors. Keep in mind, like, pathological men, they get locked up easily. I think probably most men that are in jail, I'm not even sure if that's beneficial, because there's no rehabilitation going on there, but that is not that's not the same level of consequence when it comes to pathological women. And I mean, I think there are a lot more pathological women out there than we know, can recognize, or are even willing to say, because some of the behaviors that I witnessed from my girlfriends, for example, I'll do this one. You'll have a girl talking about her baby daddy, how horribly he treats her, this, that, and the third. And then she'll post the text messages on the private story or DMs them to you. And I read these text messages, and it's like, girl, you look like a serial killer, and this is not okay. You call them out on it. They're ready to swing on you. They are ready to run your name through the mud, ready to block you. You're expendable to these women. So it's just not okay. Bring back shaming women. I'm all right with it. Y'all should be okay with it too. It's all good.
She's not a Christian!
Oh my goodness. I was going to get Devin's take on this, but she is screening phone calls right now. Let me ask you this, Rollo.
Oh, do I get to answer? Can I?
Yes,
I want to do this one too. Can I do this one too? I want to point out that as far as like this being sort of like a green light, like a copycat kind of thing, we have been excusing women murdering men for a very long time.
Yes,
there were as far back as like even the 1930s. If there was a homicide of a wife who was suspected of murdering the husband, there was I can't remember the name of the law, but it was like he strike first law or something like that, or strike first or something.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It was during the Depression era United States, and it was like pretty much a get out of jail free card if a wife ended up killing the guy because of and maybe it was warranted back then, but we're at a point right now where we're much more. Well, first of all, we're much more lenient with women for the same crimes, as far as punishment and prison time and everything else is concerned. But I mean, that being said, we're much more apt to believe a woman when we say, oh, she, raped me. That's the get out of jail free card. And if it's not legal, it is in a social sense. So you got to look at it from two angles here. There's the legal side of things, and then there's the social. There's a court of social justice, right? So we're so ready to jump on her bandwagon that we won't even bother with seeing what's going on with the guy as well. Because men are disposable, it's eggs are expensive and sperm is cheap, and we're the disposable sex, and women are the vulnerable sex. So when a woman actually is moved to the point where she has to stab a guy, she must have had good reason, because no woman would ever just do that because she's nuts and she's crazy. She must have had a cause to go and do something like that. So that's our first, when something like this happens, and regardless of race, when something like this happens, our first sympathies go to the female, not to the male. That's what's also known as the Duluth model of feminism. That's what police operate under. So if there is a domestic dispute or whatever, there's a domestic disorder or whatever, the cops are called. It's the guy who's going to jail, or the guy who's spending the night with his mom, and they're removing the man from the house, and it's always the presumption that the woman and the children are the ones that need the protecting, and so it's usually, they presume, if there's any kind of doubt, that it's the man who's always the aggressor. So take that now and put that into the internet age, and you're going to have people saying, "Oh, it's human trafficking." Like we're already talking about human trafficking. Christ, we don't know what. I just found out that it was $8,000 bail.
Let's go to Bob let's go to Bob in Long Island. Bob in Long Island, do you have a question? A very interesting question. Go ahead.
Yeah, what's going on? I love the show. I love the panel. A question is, do you think that this situation will increase the gender war and the race war that's going on, that's being pushed in society right now.
Ooh.
And what do you think can be done to prevent more things like this happening in the future that can affect society even more?
Okay, let's go around the panel. Pearl, what do you? So Bob is asking, do you think that this will increase the gender war and or the pseudo gender and or race war? What do you think?
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I would be pretty pissed. Like, I mean, I just think the more and more we take consequences away from women, the more, like, the worse they're going to act over time. So this isn't going to be the first that we're going to see. You're going to keep seeing more and more and more because we keep taking away the consequences from women.
Well, this is exactly what I told you, and I'll go to Allie with this question next, is when women can get away with falsely accusing a man of EPAR, even when they find out it's false and there's no consequences, what's going to happen? They're going to continue to falsely accuse men of EPAR. So what's to stop women from offing men if this is sort of like a landmark precedented case? What do you think, Allie?
I need to hear the question repeated.
Yeah. Hang on a second. So what the question was, what Bob on Long Island said is this particular situation going to drive a further rift? He called it a pseudo race war, maybe a pseudo gender war. How do you think that's going to mesh, I suppose, with the race and the gender stuff going on in the United States?
Like I was trying to say earlier, like this is a hill to die on, but unfortunately, typically these activists, they don't pick a scenario that makes sense to scream about. Like, I think that this might actually be a systemically racist phenomenon. They usually pick something like very obscure that I believe is barely relevant, and they won't even address, some of the mishappenings of these organizations. So I would like for it to be like that, but I just don't think it's going to happen. Not with, I hate to say it, but like your average IQ person, because there's a lot that you have to make a lot of logical conclusions in this situation to say, oh, this is wrong. Here are the biases. How can we adjust and fix these things? So I just don't see that happening. But I also, I don't know if we can explain this on the women's side of things, because I've had girlfriends lie about EPAR, and that is my opinion, and it's my opinion because I'll explain. When I was deployed, all of us women, we lived in a trailer. We had plywood rooms, right? So that's how thin it was, and the plywood didn't even go to the top. So you could hear anybody sneezing, coughing, or, doing other things at 3 a.m. And one of these women was a single mother, absolutely bananas, psychotic. I already knew it from day one. To this day, don't like this woman because there's just something deeply wrong with her, and she's constantly sacrificing her kids for male attention. So she ends up getting friendly with an African, which, by the way, the military has a lot of Africans. Very excellent service members.
Was she a white girl, by the way?
Yes, crazy white chick. So she ends up getting into this romantic situation, and I saw that she liked his attention. They were flirting. He bought her textbooks for school. Then all of a sudden, there's an EPAR accusation saying that it happened in our trailer with the plywood rooms. What was it, like dead silence? So I just don't believe that. But as women, we can't even go to our girlfriend and be like, girl, I think if you're lying, you need to stop. That is a very dangerous thing. There's going to be consequences, because the first thing is going to be, oh, how would you know? This is victim blaming, da 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 da. So if you're a smart woman, typically, if you think a woman is straight up lying, then you just pull back the friendship. That's the only thing you can do. So these women don't even face consequences. Because I'll be honest, I don't like to deal with the drama of confronting women.
Yeah, never goes well, does it?
Take it. And they're quick to just throw you under the bus. So I just pull back. And I recommend that for other women. If you want to take the leap of faith and hold these women accountable, be my guest. But you are not likely to come out unscathed.
Okay. Janelle, what are your thoughts on Bob on Long Island? Is this going to drive a further rift between men and women and blacks and whites?
Yeah, well, of course. I mean, there's always disparity when it comes to polarity. That should be it.
Oh, there you go.
That's kind of cool. I might sell those at my retreat. Yeah, there's always this push and pull for balancing masculine and feminine. It's going to be there till the end of time. However, we can say all the things we want to say about men, and there's a lot of things we can say. But in the end, women are not held accountable for their actions because they're emotional creatures. And so they're made to, they're given every excuse in the world to have bad behavior that can be detrimental to other people's lives. You have to look at like Lorena Bobbitt when this started.
Oh,
like,
yes, that's all right. We
remember?
all laughed.
Do you remember? Like,
I
she
remember.
literally cut off his eggplant, you know, and was like, yeah, and everyone else should do it too, you know. Like,
and we all thought it was a joke. We all thought it was a joke. Ha ha ha! John Wayne Bobbitt, blah 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 blah. But had John Wayne done to Lorena what Lorena did to John Wayne, it would have been a very different story.
This would have been a very different story. It would have not been the satire around it would not have been there. There would have been, you know, punishment and crime and punishment, all these sorts of things. So I think that over the years, it's only progressing and getting worse. Like, this woman cut off his eggplant. Now we have someone, you know, deleting someone.
Yeah.
You know, and just nothing is happening to her. So it is the racial divide. I think it's gonna be interesting to see how this plays out, because it's such that community in Texas and the racial divide there is huge. And I think just seeing it play out, and now adding the element of human trafficking, which this is a real thing. Let's not say that's not. However,
it wasn't happening to Courtney. I think that's obvious.
Exactly. The thing is, like, however, this is what upsets me. There are children as young as my son's age getting bought and sold for you know what, and this is wrong. And then we have bitches like her, that are like using this. I get angry because I worked very closely with Homeland Security and other people that really do a lot to end this BS. And then we have people like her that are using this as some kind of alibi. It's just disgusting. And we have to stop. We have to stop. I mean, here's the thing. Pretty is always going to get you far in life. It does. I mean, I'll be amiss to say that I haven't used it myself, but never in a sense where I was doing something morally wrong. Like, this is where, or taking another human's life. Like, we have to hold these women accountable, and especially, I don't want to say like come racist, but just white women, like white women are just, come on. It's like, you know, I'm surrounded by them in Orange County, and it's like this
white girls do better.
To get out of jail free card.
By the way, we're gonna go to Brian in Miami, then Hellfong, and then Matthew. Cold Rain with the $50 super chat. Holy smokes! He says nobody. Oh, double Don DeMarco. Appreciate that, Rolo. He says nobody in the black community except for some will care about a sellout. He is considered as traitor and hates black women on Twitter. They could care less. As soon as they find out he has a preference, he became more of a villain than her. That's big, Brandon. You don't have to screen that. Let us go. Let's go to
Donovan, can I drop something on that last?
Go ahead. Drop the knowledge, bro.
When I was listening to that, the first thing that came to my mind was in 2014 there was the UVA EPAR.
Yes, Jackie Coakley.
I wrote about it. Familiar with that. It was a very high profile case, and what had happened was the writer, her name was Sabrina Erdley. She goes looking for stories just like this, and apparently there was some sort of rumored incident on the University of Virginia at a fraternity whose name escapes me at the moment, but there was some sort of hazing or initiation thing, and some woman who was going by the alias of Jackie was repeatedly EPAR'd on a glass table that broke, and it was like a very sensational story. And everyone online jumped behind that. And I was one of the first ones who stepped up and go, this doesn't add up. This sounds like BS to me, right? I still have the essays up on the Rational Mail, as a matter of fact. And I was talking about it at that time, and people just ran me up the flagpole, man. They just threw rocks at me and just called me, oh, you're a misogynist. How can you not? How you're blaming the victim, yada, yada, yada. And then little by little, it's like, if it sounded like BS to me, I was like, yeah, just give it a little bit of time. And sure as shit, it was all fabricated. And of course, the story was run in the Rolling Stone and Rolling Stone magazine, and they, to the tune of about $4.5 million, and that was just what the Rolling Stone got. The fraternity and the guys who were mentioned in the article, they went away with a lot of money too as a result of that.
That's right.
And the UVA on top, the university on top of that, was all wrapped up in one story about one victim, about one sensational, like overblown story, and Everyone wanted to believe it. And if you didn't, you were evil. You're a pariah. You are outside of all that. So when somebody says, do you think that something like this is going to like deepen the gender divide or whatever? I'm like, nobody remembers. Nobody cares. I'm the only one that remembers that. You can go find the archive on Rational Mail, but you won't find it anywhere else.
Nope,
and
sure
so
will.
when I'm critical of like, and anytime I hear the Rolling Stone pop off about any other topic, I go, you lost all credibility in 2014.
That's right.
Because of the UVA case. And what's this? Oh, nobody knows, man. The internet never forgets, but people have very, very short attention spans. So will this take off? Probably not in the same way as it would have if we were in an election year. It's people wanted to get behind it and started cranking this up and really hyping it up. It all depends on what the social narrative is at that time. At that time, it was believe all women.
That's right.
Regardless, like blanket statement. That was hashtag believe all women. No matter what they say, always believe them.
Yeah.
And so it was like when that came out as a hoax, everybody was like, well, women are more affected because now it's a hoax. And the real women who are actually this is happening to, it devalues their suffering and their victimhood and everything else. I'm like, what about the dudes whose livelihoods and lives are completely ruined as a result of that, even though they won the case, even though they got the money, even though, Rolling Stone had to pay out, $4.5 million for all of this stuff for one, militant feminist who admittedly goes looking for stories exactly like that, but nobody cares. We're moving on to the next narrative. And I think probably that's what will happen with this.
Let's go to Brian in Miami. Brian, you are on Live with the Six. Go ahead.
What's up, everyone? So I wanted to say, so I was the guy that said that I lived the floor above her before I moved down in February.
Okay.
So this apartment, glorious as hell. $10K a month used to be $5K until housing market went crazy. Ocean view of the balcony, whatever. Valet parking full of Ferraris, Lambos.
Yeah,
etc.
basically it's the panorama
right
tower.
there, right next to Wynwood. So she ain't capping when she said, I love rich guys, because she definitely lived with one in the most lavish spot of the city. And my opinion on this whole thing is, I think the guy finally found his balls and was gonna dump her. Finally realized, hey, she's crazy. Let me get rid of her. And I think it just triggered her oh my God, my life flashing before me. My lavish lifestyle is gone, maybe momentarily, and then what happened, And I think what could happen now is mommy and
just
daddy
add alcohol.
Clinical psychologist, mommy and daddy got paid a clinical psychologist, say, she's been dealing with a traumatic disorder, some stressor disorder, and probably get away with it scot-free, and be done with that. But I hope that this story goes more viral just to wake guys up more. Stop thinking with
I lost him. Can we hear him?
Actually act accordingly, because this could happen to you, So that's all I got.
Okay. Yeah. I think. Hang on a second. Okay. Hang on 1 second. I think
I only got half of that.
Okay. Yeah. What he was talking about. Rolo, was the and I think he's dropped off. What he's basically saying that his mother, her mother and father, mommy and daddy, are going to pay a clinical psychologist to basically get her off. He's basically predicting what you did. What are your thoughts?
Oh yeah, I mean it's I say pretty privilege, but it's also female privilege in that sense too. It's like believe all women. I guarantee you, at some point we're going to get to we need to believe the victim. We haven't heard all the facts yet. I'll guarantee you that's what's going to come down. And then so it's how long can you ride believe all women until the facts come out and contradict everything you've said, and then we forget about it. We sweep it all away. Hell, they were making T-shirts that said "believe." I'm sure they're probably still around. Believe all women. Dude. You don't see anybody wearing that shit anymore, do you? No, you don't. Because everybody forgets about it once, Brett Kavanaugh makes this, Supreme Court or whatever. That it's Me Too has lost its usefulness. So now we're moving on to the next crisis here. I think what you're going to see is it's the crazy privilege will be there, but it's also the believe all women privilege. And then as soon as that's gone, then we're just moving on to the next crisis. Well, there'll be something that replaces that on TMZ.
Pearl, your thoughts on Brian in Miami's assessment? He thinks that mommy and daddy, they're going to be able to buy her way out of this. What are your thoughts on that?
What I said, yeah.
Well, yeah, there's pretty privilege, and then on top of that, there's rich privilege. I'm assuming her parents are well off too, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, her parents are well off, so.
Well, and the other crazy thing is they can't undo the character assassination. Like now they're assassinating the character of a dead guy. Like how messed up is that?
Wow.
I can't.
Like that's
tell no tales.
Yeah, dead. Yeah, right. That's exactly right. Allie, do you think mommy and daddy are going to successfully be able to buy their daughter's way out of a conviction, out of jail time?
I think they'll be able to, but at the same time, like, what is up with these rich parents? Like, some of the stuff that they do, I go to college right now, and you'll see some of these kids, they got like a Benz, or they back in the day, they have like a Hummer. Like, you are defending your daughter who has an OnlyFans account for one, for two, I mean, she just constantly objectifies herself. For three, now she has like ended a man's life. So, I mean, like, you ever see when go ahead.
I don't blame her parents, because if I had a daughter or a son and either he or her were accused of killing someone, and I had the resources to buy them an adequate defense, I would do that. So I mean I expect her parents to be doing what they're supposed to be doing. However, the jury pool needs to do what they're supposed to do.
Oh, I agree. I'm just saying, like, they effed up that parenting situation pretty badly. Pretty badly. That is all I'm saying, is like it is a poor reflection upon them as well. So they're welcome to get her out of jail and have her around at Christmas if they want. But yeah, I think Tom and I are very, very different in that way. I think we're more on the side of like, well, are you really worth defending? Like, prove it to us, and maybe we'll do something about it.
Janelle, you have a son. What if your son gets into this situation? Listen, he's your son. Of course you're going to do what it takes. Of course.
I know. It's easy to say that you're going to let your kids sit and rot in jail, but once you have children, it's just, man, it's a hard pill to swallow. However, I do feel that, of course I'm going to do whatever it takes. And I tell my son that. I'm like, listen, I will always protect you. I'm like, you have to always be honest with me.
That's
you
right.
have to be honest with me, because if you lie, I can't help you. Like, if you at least tell me the truth, then I can get you probably out of most things. And the good news for him is, even though he is mixed, he's light skinned. He's a handsome kid, man. You cannot tell what he is, except that he's got those, beautiful lips and eyes and the curly hair. But long story short is, I said that in our very beginning round, as I said, mom and dad have money, because how did she get out of this,
of course,
the band situation, and they're going to come to her rescue, because she's, this, snow bunny and so pure, and my daughter was innocent, Meanwhile, I looked up her name just to try to find her OnlyFans number, and I saw like a proper porn, or whatever we say, whatever the word.
Proper.
Like a proper one, not like only like on one of the other sites. Yeah. So I tried to click on it, and then it was a picture of her, and then it was like, this video they took down a bunch of her videos just recently, it said, because of, I guess, what's going on. So
yeah, she may have killed him. She may have killed a man. That's probably why.
Standard protocol.
Let's go to
standard protocol.
Let's go to Big Brandon. Big Brandon, what's going on, brother? How you doing, man?
Hey, my man, Donovan. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, man. How about yourself? It's been a while.
I know it's been a month of Sundays, man. You're a very busy man. You're traveling a lot, and you're doing big things. I'm very proud of you, brother. You and Miss Deb. I'm very proud. I'm still up here holding down Club TSR.
Yes, sir.
While y'all are out there promoting Club TSR.
You know it. So what you got on this situation, man?
The situation right here, it's a scary situation. It's a gross situation. It's scary because you could have a chameleon where you don't know when they're going to snap.
Right.
So you don't know when to let your guard down. So, when you come to an epiphany, as the gentleman did, well, you don't know if she could have snapped. She could have been okay, nice, and then next thing you know, you're dead.
Yep.
And then how the Godfather explained it, how the Godfather, Mr. Rolo, said, believe all women, get in front of the camera, put on the waterworks, claim Esuba, right?
Yep.
Daddy and mommy come in. Yep. I got to defend my girl against this evil individual. And the way the climate is now the panel has some very intelligent women on it. They understand the game.
Yep.
They understand how it goes. They recognize, even though they didn't do. But the problem is, in a court of public opinion, you get enough people to believe her, she skates. And what would be scary, like Godfather said, is what if this was an election year?
God damn, man. Let me ask you this, Brandon.
Victory.
You and I are black men. Do you? And I haven't heard this yet, but my guess is that if I scour the internet, I'm going to find that the temperature of the black community is probably going to say, well, that nigga had what was coming to him. That's what this nigga gets for fucking with them white girls.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's going to be immediately amongst the pro-black people.
That's right.
The guy who has the initials OSDJ, I'm not going to say his name out of respect.
Okay.
He would say that. Another individual who's pro-black would say that. They're not going to care.
Nope.
In a sense of this, they're going to use it as a shaming and an insult. But if she had a badge, then it'd be rise up and protect our black people.
Wow.
You know, so the hypocrisy would be there. If the woman had a badge, then it would be a different story. But since he was dating her, he got what he deserved, would be amongst the coffee table or amongst the in the beauty salon, amongst the ladies
barbershop, yep.
Of a, you know, and it's sad because if the roles were reversed and it was a white individual male who did that to a black woman, the sisterhood would come up and rally against.
That's right.
It wouldn't be, and the brotherhood would rally behind it too. Would be no shame. It'd be protect our black queens.
Wow.
Nothing wrong with that, but the kings need to be protected as well if you're going to do that.
Listen, but
that's just my opinion.
No, I agree. And if you know, listen, man, black women are not. Listen, nobody should care about fair. It isn't about what fair. To me, it's about what is. And Cold Rain on the YouTube side, Brandon says, Donovan, I'm on Twitter, and that's already in effect. So it sounds like, the streets are talking, Brandon. The streets are talking. It sounds like the black community is going to blame this dude for fucking with white girls, man. I'll give you the last word. What do guys like me need to point out as this moves forward? Because I think a lot of this is probably going to get lost in translation.
What you have to point forward and push towards is, let's not use a small substrata of incidences that happen to equate this with 400 years of our past.
Okay.
Let's equate this with right now. That's the first thing. The second thing is, when you have the intelligent conversation, you need to tell black men that when you're dating, vetting.
Yes.
Also, women in that industry, in that lifestyle, you really need to watch out, because they could have a traumatic experience prior that put them in that industry. So you never know. If you own a pit bull, if you got him for a breeder, you got to be wary. He came from a bloodline of fighters.
That's right.
So don't leave him alone with the baby. That's the way you kind of have to look at it. Not calling her a dog, but I'm just saying, you kind of have to be leery. And when you're educating and talking about it, don't attack just off an opinion and a thought and let the hatred come out of them. But you sometimes can't fight fire with fire.
Yeah,
you have to fight fire with water.
That's very true. Brandon, I appreciate you calling in, man.
Anytime, my man. Anytime.
Big Brandon on the line. Brandon is actually from Texas, so he knows all about that. Let's go around the panel one last time. We'll let Rollo lead off here. What are your final thoughts on this? What's your honest opinion on where this could head? What do you think the verdict is going to be? What do you think the reaction from the public is going to be for that verdict?
I think I think you will hear less about this if she's not even brought in, if she's not arrested, or she's not charged for this, or if it's like a clear-cut case of self-defense. As Janelle was saying, Florida is definitely a castle doctrine state. It's a stand your ground state, as we have heard in the past, actually. And then you got the Texas element that's a part of that as well. We just saw Caruth walk, the guy who killed the baby daddy of Now, and the only winner in that whole scenario is the woman, the lady who wanted him dead.
That's right. That's right.
And so, I mean, you got that aspect. I think that I want to say it's going to go away. I could be wrong. I think it's probably going to be swept under the carpet because something else will sort of preempt it. I'm not going to say it's a nothing burger, but I would say that people have very short memories, and it's not going to be like a George Floyd situation. I don't think that that's what this is going to turn into, because it's not I mean, it's a midterm election year, but it's not like it was in 2020 where they were looking for a flashpoint incident like that. This is not a flashpoint incident, I don't think. But I will say this is that if it does like sort of snowball into something else, I think that you got to remember, people like Casey Anthony got off, scot free, and got married later on after that.
She was as guilty as OJ.
Don't forget she wrote a book and got a movie about her and all that too.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because that's another aspect of this. I mean, is this going to be the next Tinder swindler? Are we gonna have some new what is it, a docutainment, a documentary entertainment thing where we're gonna watch and sympathize with the poor girl? Yeah, is that where this is gonna go? Is she gonna opt out for this? Opt the license for her story with this guy? But that's just where we're at right now. I wish it was. I kind of line up with Allie a little bit here. I kind of want to see justice served, but I don't expect it, and I don't expect us to even get the full story and all this. She's nuts. She's absolutely nuts. You got the race side, you got the woman side, you got the pretty privileged side. It's like this. It's the perfect storm, and this guy, and one man dead, one man down, and she's, I don't know, she's probably going to walk for something like this.
Okay, let's go. Pearl, Allie, Janelle, and Devin. Pearl, what's your prediction for this? Does she? I mean, Rollo thinks that she might not even go to trial. If she goes to trial, do you think she's convicted? And if she is not convicted, what's the reaction of the public?
No, I don't think she'll be convicted, and I don't think it'll be a big deal. I agree with Rollo. I don't think it'll be that big of a deal, to be honest, in the long run. And I think this is gonna set the precedent for more people to do the same thing in the future. And I don't think it's gonna get better.
Wow. Okay. I think I would agree with that. Allie, your predictions. Does she get arrested? I mean, she might not even be charged, much less arrested. What happens if she doesn't even get arrested? Does this go away, or does Black Lives Matter come in and try to bring more attention to this? Or, I mean, listen, the streets are already talking. That nigga should have known not to fuck with white girls.
Oh, yeah, this is most definitely going to get swept under the rug. I mean, people do have short attention spans, and I don't mean to be abysmal, but to be sincere, most people are closer to retardation than genius. So, that is just, always something to keep in mind, right? If BLM wanted to finesse the situation, they could, but they out here buying $6 million mansions. What they need to be doing is putting this heifer on blast. And Manosphere, this is your time to shine. Women want to character assassinate men. This is your time to put this heifer on blast. You can be the change you want to see in the world, or you can kick back and complain. So that is very much my approach. You just do what you can to improve the situation that you think is a problem. And hopefully you never know. Maybe if you guys push back enough, things start changing. I mean, I think things do change the more that you all publicize things. For example, we can see men are kind of waking up to the fact that marriage may or may not be a scam in the modern era. So keep on doing the work.
Listen, that's a good appeal to the manosphere, but I can tell you right now, the black manosphere they're not gonna have anything to do with this, simply because the girl was white. Janelle, do you think she gets arrested? Do you think she gets charged? Do you think she gets convicted? What's your prediction here? Unmute yourself, please.
Damn it, I'm sorry, y'all. Okay, I'll just repeat what I said from the beginning. Parents are going to bail her out. She's definitely going to get some kind of movie, TV, book deal. She's also going to get the support of the human trafficking world movement, which means maybe she'll start her own 501c3 so she can kind of launder some money through there as well and jump on that bandwagon. Don't put it past her, trust me.
Oh my God. Wow, Dev. I'm sorry.
That's the short of it.
All right, Dev. What are your predictions? Hold on. Are you hoping that she gets away with it so you can off me?
No, I'm
Okay.
hoping that she ends up in jail because I've seen her pictures. She's your type, and I don't want her around the streets of Miami.
Yeah, I don't stick my dick in crazy.
Why don't you go to sleep?
God, Roller, Jesus.
I mean, honestly, unless they can prove like this is a pattern of her behavior where she is constantly getting away with things, especially like with the mommy and daddy, because before, back in 2000, she was in a car. No, it was 2018. She was in a car accident and got sued from the lady that she hit, and then they settled it out of court. So mom and dad stepped in there.
Yes.
Then she gets a DUI.
She would have been 20 years old.
She gets a DUI 2 years later. It's been 2 years since then, but she hasn't gone to court yet.
Oh my God.
And she hasn't had a plea for that yet. So they've got a good attorney.
You forget all about it before this goes to court.
So now, now this is just an icing on the cake. It's almost just like, just watch the escalation. What bothers me about this is that it's almost like an OnlyFans syndrome, because in the quick search that I did to pull up some of the articles before the show for Donovan, I found 3 articles of OnlyFans girls stabbing men 3 times in the last 6 months, and that's just on a one quick search. That's in the top.
Everybody does it now.
So
Yeah.
One girl did it in October. One girl did it in late March. I don't know why that one isn't hit the headlines. Probably because it's not as salacious.
Yeah, probably
as
not.
all the pictures, and now this one. So, yeah, I don't know if it's just this level of entitlement that these chicks, like, their egos are just getting so blown up that they just feel like the rules don't apply to them at all anymore. Like,
Well,
I don't have to drive sober, I don't have to pay my rent, and I don't have to be arrested if I decide to stick a steak knife in your chest. So.
Check this out. The one thing, guilty. Dude, the one thing that Dev said that was the word of the episode is escalation. First it was what? It was a DUI.
It was just a car accident.
A car accident, got out of that. Then now she's driving drunk. She got out of that. Well, she's just like, well, hell, if I'm not even gonna get taken to court for DUI or even a car accident, she already escalated to alleged manslaughter.
Yeah, I mean, she's a pretty girl, and no one can prove her wrong.
Insane.
So. But on the race war stuff, I think that this is more. I disagree. I think this is more of a gender issue that is going to come out of this than a race thing.
Yep.
I mean, the race thing is going to be there no matter what, but I think more people are going to be talking about how women are basically getting away with murder.
Yep. And Rolo, I remember a long time ago, when you and I were on another podcast. I remember this one time you said, when it comes to race, when it comes to women and race, women will close ranks with other women before they close ranks with men, regardless of what the race is. And
Sisterhood Uber Alice.
Yep, the Sisterhood Uber Alice. Ant Tycoon with the $50 super chat. Holy smokes. Says, classic episode, ladies and gentlemen, much needed discussion. Red Pill Crip. Wait, did he say Red Pill Crip? I thought Crips were blue. All right, well, Red Pill Crip with the $50 super chat says, this is FKA Ant Tycoon. This is my channel. I will deliver content on. I appreciate you guys. True inspiration. And with that is going to bring this particular episode to a close. My thanks to everyone involved. Thank you guys very much for doing this on such short notice. The reason why it's only 2 of us guys here is because I notified everyone like 10 minutes before I wanted to do this. But we will definitely be discussing more of this as the time goes on. Let's go around the panel and tell the people where they can find you. Pearl, tell the people they can find you.
You can find me on YouTube, just Pearly Things, and Instagram, just .Pearly Things, and I just got on Twitter.
Yeah,
so
there we go.
That's Pearly Things with a Z. I'm trying to get to 200 followers, so go follow me on there.
Follow Pearl on Twitter. Allie, where can the people find you?
You can find me over on IG at RealFemSapien. Be warned, I am pretty much a staunch conservative, so these hands are equal opportunity for everyone. And my YouTube channel at RealFemSapien, I try to hold women accountable as well as men. I am tired of these pathological people. Like, we got to check these folks. So there you go.
Yeah, Allie has no chill for these hoes on Instagram. There's no chill. Janelle, where can the people find you?
No social media, just theofactors.com. Yeah.
And
No,
why? Well, why don't you tell the people why you don't have social media anymore?
Well, because they blacklisted me on Instagram and I believe TikTok.
Really?
Yeah.
I followed you on Instagram.
Well, that was my brand new account, but I'm not really putting any energy into it. But yeah, you can also find me on YouTube. So I've been posting shorts and got some videos coming up with some collabs. So it should be fun.
Good, good.
Janelle Gordon YouTube.
Janelle Gordon YouTube.
Regular. Yeah.
Devin, where can the people find you? Where? Tell us about your social media.
404 not found. You can find me here.
Okay.
Next to this guy.
Okay, very good. Good
Poop
answer.
earrings,
Good answer.
duly noted.
Rollo, tell the people where to find you.
You can find me Hi, I'm Rollo. You can find me on Amazon. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Amazon.
Yeah.
I'm all over the place. I am a social media whore.
Yes.
I said, let's see. I've got book 5 is coming out. The Player's Handbook should be about midweek, sometime next week. I'm just waiting on the Kindle, and after that, it's ready to go. So that's coming out. That'll be a big major announcement. The other thing I am doing right now is an NFT with Kevin Savo, which I think you're aware of.
Damn it.
Yeah, if you don't have it ready to load, that's fine. Just put the Discord server in there. That's all I'm after.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's fine. But the NFT we're dropping is the first Red Pill NFT, and I mean that in the sense that we are doing this with the express purpose to sort of push back against the narrative here, and we are going head to head with NFTs like what is it, World of Women, which is expressly an NFT to fund the feminist narratives and feminist projects and stuff. So that's what Kevin and myself are doing, and as well as Rocky Savo, who is Kevin's brother.
Yes.
So we have that in order. We have a Discord server if you want to get on the whitelist, and if you want to I'm there. That's now my home server, by the way. I don't have a Rational Mail server, but I am quite active now on the Red Pill Lions Discord server, and you can find more information on just redpilllions.com. So there you go.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Okay, that is going.
Hey, wait, we gotta see Rollo next Saturday, right?
Oh yeah, Rollo, dude, we're gonna be out in Reno. We land on Friday or Thursday. Yeah, we'll be there from Friday until I think Thursday. Yeah. So Deb and I
line something up.
Yeah, we'd like to take you and your lady out for a double date.
Yeah, let the lady know I miss her.
I will. She misses you too. We'll go get sushi at one of the 30 all-you-can-eat sushi bars in Reno, Nevada.
There's no shortage of all-you-can-eat sushi bars.
I want to see you guys 1v1 on bowling. I want to see who comes out on top.
Well, you want us to go to the National Bowling Center? That's the biggest bowling alley on planet Earth.
Yes.
Yeah, you said 1v1.
Checking in.
Look, Allie, I'm gonna pat myself on the back. I don't know too many people who are better than I am. I shot a 268 the other day. Yeah, I don't know. I put in the work. Like, we actually go to bowling. We go to the bowling alley not for fun. We go to practice. Man, that's what we go for. But we'll head on out there. That should be a lot of fun. People like with the $5 super chat says the guy should have realized that this chick was a major red flag from the fact she was popping pussy on the net. That's a very good note to get.
And the take home lesson of this whole episode is don't put your dick in crazy.
That's right. Hold on. Nope. Absolutely. That's going to do it for this edition of The Six. We will see you guys next time.